This is a super important topic, and it's one of my training methods that I really enjoy to use to get the best results and the best relationship is using the dog's food and utilizing bones or Kongs or any kind of hollowed out toy and stuffing it with their food and then freezing it. So then when they're on tie down or they're in their crate, they have something to do that keeps them busy. Remember, a dog self-soothes better if they have something that they like to eat. And here's something that's super important is you want to make sure that the recipe that you're using is exciting for your dog and they like it. Even if it's their favorite food right now, they might not like it every day for 3 weeks. So in this example, I have the Vitamix. I put a little water in there. I've put some of the dog's chicken. Now this isn't my dog's food. This is a client's dog's food. So that dog's on chicken, cottage cheese, and their kibble. I took a muffin tin. I put a little water on the bottom and threw some kibble in there. I measured out their food, a cup of their food, which is 1 meal, and I put that in here with the chicken and some cottage cheese. I have the hollowed out bones in the sink, and what I've used is a food grade hydrogen peroxide. I've sprayed them down, let them sit for a little while, get them all cleaned up, and then I rinse them. And then I have a bag, and I put the bones in the bag, and then I put the whole bag in a drop freezer that I got on Craigslist for really cheap. So I have instant access to any kind of bones I need, and I use it all the time. So in this instance, Mr. Porter is sitting here on tie down, and he's around the corner. He's just sitting. Just a good boy. And I've set up a little section here for him. He was sitting on the bed, but I think he got hot. And he's got his bone, he has his toys, and I put a towel around so when he's eating his bones or a Kong, it won't roll away from his bed, so he'll still be able to get it. And we're always going to reward him for being calm. What a good boy. So the whole scenario is to give them something that they really like to do. And as you notice, he's not chewing this bone at all because it's just boring for him. So we're going to make it more fun. I also have his crate there, so when I need to put him in his crate, he'll have something fun to do. What's super important, especially in this situation where I'm babysitting him for 10 days, is they have to transition to your house. They have to feel more confident, and the way to do that is more management. So tie down, crate, exercise, and manage them and reward them for being calm. So he has some separation anxiety. He gets a little nervous, so we're just going to work with him. So I'm making him his yummies. And so I've put this in the Vitamix, and I'm going to turn it on so you guys can kind of get it. You mix it up really good, so it's kind of a gruel in there, and that you can kind of see, kind of gooey and lovely. All right, and then like I said, in the muffin tins, you could freeze these, which I'm going to put some of his goodies on top and freeze them. And then I threw chicken in here. I could throw pieces of chicken in his stuff, and then I have the bones ready to go. So what we're going to do is you can take a bone. Now remember, you're only going to use a bone if they don't bite and break. So you can see this bone has been used by my dogs. They chew and gnaw nicely on the sides. Take off the meat, leave the middle, and that's good. All right, so then I'm going to go to my Vitamix here, and I'm going to get out all the yummy stuff, and it doesn't pour, so I'm going to get my spoon. So I get a spoon here, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this, there it is, and put it in here. And that's all I'm going to do. That's about a tablespoon. So right now what's in this Vitamix is a whole day's worth of food. So I can keep track of his meals by putting it in here, and then I can fill up as many bones as I want, keep track of that, what's in the bag, and then I know for the day he can have all these little treats that'll pretty much last him about 10 minutes probably, and make it fun for him. I could do a Kong. Now this is not my favorite size Kong. This is his Kong. I think the hole's too small. Most dogs don't like it that much, but let's just see. So I'm not going to freeze this one. I'm going to give it to him. So I'll throw some stuff in there. And then I'm going to give it to him and see how he does with it. See if the recipe is what he likes. So I'm going to go back to where he is. He's nice and quiet. I want to praise that. Hi, buddy. What a good boy on your bed. Here you go. And I give him something. Hopefully he'll engage with it right away. And he does. So I know that's a good recipe. You want them engaged. If he licks 2 licks and then stops and doesn't stay engaged for at least 5 or 10 minutes, then you want to change the recipe to something he likes. So you kind of notice that wasn't that exciting, was it? All right, so I would change the recipe for him. This is something he gets all the time. So it could be he's also full. They fed him right before they dropped him off. So I would play with that recipe to make sure I get him something that he really likes. So in my freezer box right here, it's Halloween time during this video, I have some pre-frozen bones right here, ready to rock, and I'm going to see if he likes one of those. So this one has wet dog food in it, venison. So I'm going to see if he likes that better. You ready, buddy? And let's see if he likes this recipe better. Here you go, bub. Try that out. So you can kind of see it takes a little time to figure out. Let's see if he stays engaged with that one a little bit longer. This is something he typically doesn't get. And of course, somebody is blowing some leaves, so I'm going to close the door so it's a little bit quieter. Good boy, bub. All right, so let's see if he stays engaged with that better. Oh, and he does. There we go. That's the kind of recipe then that we want. So then what this gives me feedback on is the recipe that I'm making him for his meal. I'll give him in his crate, and I'll give him to him when he's hungry for his meal. But I know it's not as high value, so if I really need him to self-soothe and calm, I'm going to go with a recipe like this, which would be wet dog food that matches the food that he's eating or that I know won't bother him. So to finish up this part then, I'm just going to take some of the gruel that I've made with his kibble, with the chicken and the cottage cheese. And I can make it thinner if I want by putting some bone broth in there. And now I'm going to put it here in these trays. And what's going to happen is I can pop out these muffin trays later, and he'll have his meal in a little frozen patty. Okay, now like I said, I put a little water in there. You can put a little coconut oil on the bottom so it pops out easier. Okay, and you just figure it out. Just have some fun with it. The number one challenge I see with most of my clients is that they'll just feed their dog their meal, and then they want to give them treats all day long for training. And if you utilize your meal for training, I have a video of this on my YouTube as well, where they earn their meal for sits or downs or looking to you or walking exercises or tricks. And you just like take 10 teaspoons if you're giving your dog wet food, or 10 kibbles or 10 little handfuls of whatever they get. They will learn that while this is fun, I'm getting my meal and I earn it from my person. And it builds a great relationship, plus it gets the numbers that you need to train your dog. Dogs don't learn overnight. Just like people. We learn in kindergarten, we learn the ABC song. I can put some of this on here. Let's like take a little piece of chicken and make it super yummy. Throw that in there. I could take a piece of chicken and put it on top of the bone as well. And then I'm just going to drop all of these that I made in the freezer. Be a couple hours, will be ready to go. He's got about a tablespoon or two of what he needs, and it will keep him busy and help him. Dogs, when they're eating, self-soothe a little bit more. So this is really good for dogs where you can set them up for success, put them on tie down or their crate, and then reward them for being calm. So back to what I was saying, I'm going to stuff this little wheelbarrow toy. What I was saying about dogs learning, we need to do more repetitions. We give our dogs more credit than is really deserving of them. They need more practice. So if you have your dog do a sit stay and then give them their whole bowl of food, they're just not going to learn because they're not doing it enough times. So when you think about being a kid, you're learning the ABC song maybe in kindergarten. Do you start writing sentences after you learn the ABC song? Nope. You will start to trace the letters. After you learn how to trace the letters, are you writing sentences or stories? Nope. So you want to make sure that you are clear that you're practicing more. And when you practice 10 little sessions each meal, and let's say the dog is eating twice a day, you'll get 140 more practice sessions in a week. Now you're starting to get to numbers that you really need to work with your dog. So here's a nice little example of how to feed your dog, how to clean your bones. This is an antler. Once again, if the dogs don't bite huge pieces off and they just kind of chew it, it's okay. If not, remember everybody, you got to go to the rubber toys. You got to go to something that they can't hurt their teeth on. Big Kongs, wheelbarrow tires like this little guy, or whatever works for your dog. Remember, the recipe will go by what your dog is doing. Now, Porter's being super calm and quiet over here. You're the best dog ever. And look, he's still playing with that bone. There's the recipe. That's what we want. This gives me a chance to reward him often for being calm. It's helping with his separation anxiety. And we're getting really good results here. So utilize that for your training. Great tie down treat, great crate treat. Utilizing their meals so they're not going to get overweight, and change the recipes so they like it. I hope this is helpful. More videos on my YouTube page. Check it out. Have a great day.